Hello, guys. Longtime wrestling fan here, over 35, 40 years. So, I'm here to tell you guys about an experience that I had, I want to say at least about 8 years ago, at a gym that my husband and I used to attend before we got married, meeting WWE wrestlers. Okay, so rewind to about 8, 9 years ago. My husband used to work in a mall in Long Island, and this mall had a gym. The gym was called Export. I can actually name the gym. I normally wouldn't tell where wrestlers work at. If I knew, I don't always know. I really don't. But the gym is no longer there. Apparently, it turned into a LA Fitness, and now it's nothing. So I feel pretty safe telling you guys it was Export Fitness. So he signed us up on a family discount membership, and I was just excited to go to a nice full service gym with all the amenities that I like because I hate gyms like Planet Fitness and things like that. I like full service gyms. So, we have been working out there for a good, I don't know, I want to say over a month, maybe even 2 months. Okay, all I knew was that this gym was nice. I had to travel a bit far for it, had everything you can imagine. Then one day, my husband, as he said, he worked in the mall at the time we were dating, and he decided to go in on his lunch break and work out. And he's a jokester. He texts me, Randy Orton is in this gym. And I'm like, bull fucking shit, because he's a jokester. And then less than a minute later, he sends me a picture of Randy Orton. I'm like, OMG, Randy Orton is in our gym. Why? Okay. Then he tells me that Dolph Ziggler is there. I forgot who else. There was quite a few. But obviously, he didn't take pictures with them. He just spoke to them a little bit. But I'm shocked. So I'm like, okay, wrestlers go to our gym. What the fuck? I'm a big time wrestling fan. So, of course, I'm marking out a little bit. So fast forward to maybe 3 weeks to a month later, Raw was in town. They were going to be at Nassau Coliseum, which is also Long Island. And of course, I said, okay, let me go there for a workout. And maybe, just maybe, I might run into somebody. But I feel funny approaching them while they're working out because there's certain etiquette that comes along with if you go into a gym, anybody working out, you're not supposed to bother them. You're not, supposed to interrupt their workout, especially somebody who is a TV personality or a public figure. So I go there with every intent of working out because I did love that gym, but I'm also curious about who I may or may not see. As soon as I walked in to check in at the gym, the first person I see on the rowing machine, rowing his life away like a madman, was John Moxley, at that time known as Dean Ambrose. And he's rowing. And he looked intense, sweat pouring down his face, dripping everywhere, hair wet, and I froze. Because, at the end of the day, you don't want to act like a fangirl. You don't want to practice improper gym etiquette. You don't want to interrupt their workout, just like you wouldn't want to interrupt them eating. Now, I have to reiterate, this was the gym we went to, not being totally oblivious to the fact that wrestlers went there. It was just a nice full-service gym for the price. It was under $100 a month. So I froze, I'm not going to lie. But I said, you know what? My best bet is to keep walking, go inside the ladies' locker room and change my clothes. I'm not going to bother this man because he might cuss me out if I ask for a picture, right? So come out, he's gone. He was out of there. So I work out, go about my workout, maybe a half an hour past by because I'm working out slowly, just in case anybody else walks in. Plus, I wanted to get a good workout. Anyway, I go to the elliptical. Here's where it gets fun. Okay. I go to the elliptical. Treadmills is on the left-hand side. I turn around to my left because my eyes, I'm trying to have eyes in the back of my head. And guess who I see walking on incline on the treadmill with a baseball cap on his head? Okay, it was Roman friggin' Reigns. I'm gonna tell you guys, I'm not even the biggest Roman Reigns fan. Okay, I don't dislike him, but I don't go like crazy over him. But at the time, I think maybe I liked him a little more than I like him now. And let me tell you guys, it was very hard to concentrate on my elliptical workout with Roman Reigns feet away from me, walking on a damn treadmill. I was like, what? And he was trying to be incognito. He had the hat pulled down and he's walking, in my mind, because he's an athlete, I'm thinking he's going to be running on a treadmill. He's walking on an incline. You had other wrestling fans that was in there wearing a t-shirt, like wrestling t-shirts, and they're looking at him smiling. And I'm like, this is crazy. Eventually, I'm on the elliptical. He walks out of the gym. Okay, he walks out. I'm thinking, all right, my chance is lost. But this is Roman Reigns. It's a big deal. But as I'm working on the elliptical, these guys, because there was an escalator that leads you to the parking lot from the gym into the mall, these guys ran back down the stairs. And they're like, I got my picture. I'm like, you got your picture with Roman Reigns? He stopped? He actually stopped? They're like, yeah. Girl, I was like Speedy Gonzalez. Oh, I say girl, well, peeps. I was like Speedy Gonzalez, like the road runner. And on that escalator in front of me, no one else but him and I was Roman Reigns and directly in front of me. I'm like, what do I do now? Because I don't want this man to yell at me. Because, I've heard that he can be, if you approach him at the wrong time, he's not in the mood, whatever. But he'd already left the gym. He already finished his workout. Okay. I lightly tapped him. Excuse me. I'm like, may I get a picture with you? And he said yes. He smiled. It was cool interaction. It wasn't, a lot of conversation, but I didn't need that. I was just happy that he actually let me take the picture with him. Okay. So I was like on cloud 9, clouds. And, yeah, I go back to my workout. I'm back on the elliptical, and shortly after, in comes R-Truth. I'm like, whoa, okay. He just grabbed his towel. And I'm like, and now the front desk is right where I am because the elliptical is literally behind the front desk. I'm like, I need to actually approach this man before he starts working out, because after that, that's when the gym etiquette kicks in. You don't ask them in the middle of a workout. But I know R-Truth is really nice and he likes his fans. So I approached him. I took a chance, I took a gamble, and he said yes. And he took the picture, no problem. But that was a very interesting experience. And we continued to go to that gym until my husband switched jobs, but I never seen wrestlers in there again. But then I heard stories that John Cena actually worked out there. And I'm like, yo, John Cena works out at my gym. OMG. I heard that you cannot approach him while he's working out, which is understandable. But even when he walks in there and he's not working out, you cannot approach him. But I didn't get to experience meeting him then. I've met him a ton of times already, so it wasn't even a big deal. But that was a very interesting experience. Unfortunately, we had to leave that gym because, as I said, my husband switched jobs, so it was no point if he wasn't working there to go there. And plus, it wasn't even that close to our house. So that was my experience meeting WWE wrestlers in the gym. I have to reiterate, because I know some people come on in and think, well, you shouldn't be going to the gym just to see wrestlers. That's not how it was. This was a gym that we paid for, oblivious to the fact that wrestlers even went there until my husband went there that afternoon while on his lunch break. So we didn't know. We just happened to get lucky. And that was a very nice gym. It's unfortunate that they closed because that gym was full service. They even had laptops if you want to work. If you want to, stop in the middle of your workout and go on the internet. They had a spa in there, a basketball court. I've never seen anything like it. And nothing will ever come close to Export Fitness in Long Island. But that was my experience meeting WWE wrestlers in my gym. And I will say it was a very cool experience and probably will never, ever happen again. But tell me how you feel about, how would you have reacted if you went to the gym as a wrestling fan and you saw some of your faves, or even not your faves, just wrestlers in the gym? Okay, tell me how you feel, how you would have reacted. I'm curious to know. Like, comment, and subscribe.